Luke Davies, in an unbelievable fashion, wins his second career Monaco Grand Prix. Luke Davies takes it again in star-studded and dramatic fashion. This program is brought to you by Simulus Clothing, official title sponsors of Formula Virtual Racing. But wait, there's more. Check out the official Formula Virtual Racing merchandise line out now exclusively to Simulus Clothing. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the program. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Formula Virtual Racing. We are here for round number 10 of the Season 11 Championship. We're starting a little bit late, apologies, a couple of technical issues as per usual here in Formula Virtual Racing, but we are all good to go for what should be an absolutely classic Singaporean Grand Prix. 10 minutes left to qualify. Currently it is Felix Schumacher who is on pole position, the man who was former winner of this race many a time ago. I've just realised Lewis... Oh, hold on. What? Sorry, I'm going to introduce the man alongside me, Mr. Kyle Davis, who's not in 17th. My second question, why is there two Lewises?
Good question to two things, actually. I don't know why I'm in the pit lane. I do know why I'm in the pit lane. I, of course, entered the race on accident. I left, though, so I hope that will be fixed for the race. But yeah... good evening from me too, ladies and gentlemen. Exciting race ahead of us as we have 2 more rounds to go. There is one important driver who has not... Well, he's not here today. It's Legend Rosenberg, of course, who
well, he might be joining. We're not sure.
Oh, he might be joining.
Might be, but it's Legend isn't here with an asterisk for now, is the only way I can put it.
Yeah, well, if he isn't here, there is a 5-point difference between Luke Davies and Legend Rosenberg, so it could be big for his championship if he was to not race here. Anyway, excited for the race. Yeah, I have got no real sense of who's going to win this one. I do also see Leroy van Schendel back after his race ban, so I bet he's going to try something else. He's currently in P12 in the standings to go up higher as well.
Just to clarify the two Lewis's thing, that's Adrian's helmet and Adrian's number, so I'm going to assume that that is Adrian Tishy. But Singapore Grand Prix, we've had some absolute crazy races in the past. Luke actually messaged me this before the race. He does the stats. He says, cool stat for this evening. Of all the drivers that have exactly one FVR win, 3 of the 13, or 23% of them have achieved it at Singapore. We have ran... almost 7, maybe 7 Singaporean Grand Prix, I'm not sure the exact number. There's never been a repeat winner.
Never at all.
Never at all. And Luke has won here. Lewis has not won here. Legend has not won here. Tyler has not won here. Meaning that stat could continue for more than just this evening, because what absolute cracking races we've had across the years here in Singapore. And I imagine we're going to have another one here this evening, because as we take a look at your championship standings on the screen, folks, it's mighty, mighty close. It's Luke Davies on top by 4 points over Legend Rosenberg. Actually, 4 or 5. That graphic might be a little bit wrong. Then it is Tyler Davison in third. And Tyler's really good around here. 1 career pole position around the Singaporean Grand Prix. This is a massive opportunity for him tonight to get back in the championship battle.
Definitely. Tyler has a great opportunity here to get back, as obviously Legend Rosenberg is doubtful to be attending today. We've got Luke Davies. It's a tricky track, so even for Luke Davies, it's not going to be a walk in the park. As the stats show, um, no repeat winners here. That means only one thing: it's all to play for, and that with 2 rounds to go, it's going to be an interesting one, Evan.
It is. Well, we've got tonight here at Singapore, then we head to the Lusail International Circuit in Qatar, and then we head to Abu Dhabi for the season conclusion. So, what a spectacle we have, and there goes Tyler Davison quickest, 128.323. Felix Schumacher in second. Those two fought for the win back in Season 2 when Felix won it for Ferrari, his only career FVR win. Of course, he has been a reserve driver for his entire career, so it's not as if he hasn't won since Season 2. He's only did a handful of races in Season 2, but still a fun fact nonetheless. Luke Davies is in fourth. Lewis McWilliam returns for this evening. We're great to have Lewis back. He is, he was suffering with a bit of illness. He had, no, it wasn't strep throat. What's the other thing to do with your throat? I can't remember.
Laryngitis?
No, I can't remember. But Lewis, great to have you back. Lewis, great to have you back in the front row, because Lewis McWilliam has just beaten Felix Schumacher and he has gone quickest. Fun thing, or maybe not fun depending on your opinions on this, between Lewis and Felix is they have a long-lasting rivalry. They both want to beat each other, and that will definitely be a trend that continues here this evening.
And on a track like this, where almost no room is given by the track itself, it will only be less room given by the rest of the grid to each other. So I do think there's going to be some rivalries fought out here. It's not only Lewis and Felix Schumacher with rivalries. I do think there's going to be some other drivers in here who will be making some big and tricky moves. I genuinely like this track, Evan. As I'm just going to skip the subject real quick, I do really like this track because it's always so tight and so hard, and every single lap is a lap where you need to focus. Of course, that's on every racetrack, but this one's in particular quite hard. I don't know if you have any experience here, but I do, and I have only won once, and that was here in Singapore.
I've never won a race around here. I got second in a PSGL race here, and my last career FVRA race here ended with Theo Leclerc. Theo Leclerc, of course, was a fake driver name Jake Marsh gave himself. Long story, but he put me into the wall at turn number 1, and that was that. So ended on a sour note. FRL, which was Felix's league, or which was CM's league, had a good race here as well. None of you care about this, but that is that is an interesting one. Shout out Theo Leclerc, by the way. But Niels Hartl jumps up to 12th. Charlie Doyle has returned for this evening. Good to have you back, Charlie. Hope actually also a one-time pole sitter here in FVR, not at Singapore. He got that at Hungary in season number 9. Race was won by Tyler Pistilli, of course, who got your Driver of the Day award last time out in Silverstone. We also have another debutant. Now, not a debutant to FVR. He had a great race at the 4 Hours of Le Mans, much better than Spider GT, and he had a great race. This is Levi Rabers, who is in the Mercedes for this evening, replacing Avesta Gobadi. It's not looking like we're going to have Avesta back, unfortunately, this season, which means it's going to be another potential championship winning season that's going to go down the drain for Avesta.
Yeah, and Avesta was close to it. I mean, he is, of course, the whole top 5 is close to it. We've got Thomas Main as well up there, and he is still a reserve.
Don't think he's going to be back either. Not going to comment on that, but don't think he's going to be back either.
Oh, okay. Well, I missed that part. I was sick too, so...
we actually gave you a bit of a shout out last week on Kyle, just to give Kyle Davis a health update. Well, he's in the commentary box, isn't he? So he's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm way better. It's of course a little bit of an adjustment because I will not really. There's a big chance that I won't get better at all, but it's livable to deal with. So it's better now that I'm back. I'm also happy to be back. So thank you for inviting me here, Evan.
No, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Kyle has become a bit of a fan favourite so far this season. So we're delighted to have him back in the commentary box. And, of course, Brendan, if you're watching, Brendan, another fan favourite. We love them both. It's stuck between a rock and a hard place for who gets to co-commentate alongside me. Not that is a good thing most of the time, but we'll wait and see. 3 minutes to go in qualifying for the Singapore Grand Prix. It's Lewis McWilliam who's the first man out on track out of the top 4, let's say. Those seem to be the ones in the battle for pole position. It's also not looking like we're going to get an appearance from Legend Rosenberg here this evening, which puts this championship up in the air pretty much. A bad result for Luke, a good result for Tyler, and then it's a 3-car fight going into Lusail. And that is something that I thoroughly like. We've never had a 3-car championship fight in Formula Virtual Racing in the final 2 rounds. It's always been 2 drivers. We've only ever had 2 last race finales as well, which is a bit of a weird one. We've had 3. We've had 3. We had season 9, of course, in Brazil, McWilliam versus Davies. We had season 4 here at Singapore, which was McWilliam versus Rosenberg, which ended in controversial fashion, of course. And then we had season 1. Sorry, I've lied. We had season 3 as well in Brazil, which was Davis versus Redmond, not Kyle's brother Sam. And then, of course, we had season 1, which was Main versus Hetkamper. Danny didn't race and still won the championship. An interesting one for the historians of FVR.
That is an interesting one. I wish I could not race and win championships, because that way I would have definitely gotten a few of them. There's a notable big...
Actually, in Kyle's former league, I would have been the champion if we didn't do a final race, because he closed the league the day I lost the championship lead. But anyways, final lap here in qualifying for the Singapore Grand Prix. Lewis McWilliam. Let's throw it back to season 7 then. Lewis produced a lap of the gods to come from almost 0.8 of a second behind Liam Houseman to take pole position for that race. He doesn't even need 0.8 of a second. 0.08 would do the job. But in towards turn number 4, or 5 I should say, comes Lewis McWilliam. Of course, it's a slightly changed Singaporean Grand Prix circuit. There is no longer 23 corners. Those have been reduced. First sector for McWilliam, it is an improvement, but it's not by enough. This is reminiscent of the season 7 lap to beat Liam Houseman. He was in a Red Bull... It was in a Honda-powered car that day, or Red Bull powertrains, and also Adrian is now Adrian again on the gamertag list. But this middle sector is where he gained all the time that season, in towards the left-hander at the Singapore Sling, and then the right-hander just before you head over the Anderson Bridge. This is really where McWilliam shows his talent, he shows his craft. And braking for that left-hand hairpin, the Ferrariman's just got to pin the throttle and head down to the right-hander. This is where we were shocked back on that brilliant pole lap. Will we be shocked again? Yes. He's just absolutely unbelievable in this middle sector. 0.4 of a second for the Scotsman of Lewis McWilliam. Of course, we head down through the newly part of the circuit and in towards the final chicanes. For Lewis, it means there's less opportunities to lose all that time he's gained. Rounding for the final corner, Lewis McWilliam is flying through this final sector of Singapore. Can he produce the magic once again? The benchmark is set 28-0. Davison, what have you got for us? He was down in the first sector. Needs to push through this middle sector. Remember, pole isn't the be-all and end-all here at Singapore. McWilliam lost that season 7 race that we're on about. Tyler is improving, but not necessarily by enough. Needs a lot more in this final sector, and it's not looking like there's a lot more to give. His front left tyre is has a bit of damage on it, so there might be something there in that regards. Can Felix Schumacher maybe surprise us and take pole position here at Singapore around the final corner, a little bit wide? Schumacher, he's onto the front row of the grid. Can Davison go and beat him? Yes, he will. Davison onto the front row of the grid. Luke Davies, the moment turns to you. Is it going to be potentially one of the biggest laps of his Formula Virtual Racing career? Also a bit of marbles on those tyres, so it's maybe a circuit-wide issue and not the driver running wide. Big improvements for Enzo King, who goes to 5th position for Red Bull Racing. Enzo's on a great run of form. What can Luke Davies do with his best efforts across the line? He will improve, but he will stay 4th. Still big improvement nonetheless. Vince Schendel looking for redemption on the back of a race suspension. Across the line goes Leroy. He'll stay 6th, but that's good nonetheless. Levi Rabbers is coming through the final sector as well, but not improving. And Tim Denhar parks it in the pits, meaning he never really left, just stepped aside for a while. It's your 2-point Lewis McWilliam, who takes his 2nd pole position of the season. Has Kyle left me? Oh, Kyle is on mute, so we'll jump back to Kyle Davis in a second. Here is your qualifying note, because we do have to go to commercial, of course. It is Lewis McWilliam on pole, Tyler Davison on the front row alongside him. Then it is Felix Schumacher, Luke Davies, Enzo King, Leroy Van Schendel, Charlie Doyle, and it is Levi Rabbers, Morris Stumer, and Borbune, and Tim Denhar, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, Nils Hartl, Yathan Panguru, Kyle Albert, Julius Gesner, and then Adrian Tishy, who line up for your FVR Singaporean Grand Prix. Folks, we will be back after a short commercial break. Luke Davies, in an unbelievable fashion, wins his second career Monaco Grand Prix. Luke Davies takes it again in star-studded and dramatic fashion. This program is brought to you by Simulus Clothing, official title sponsors of Formula Virtual Racing. But wait, there's more. Check out the official Formula Virtual Racing merchandise line out now exclusively to Simulus Clothing. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the program. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Singapore. We are going racing fairly soon, but Mr. Kyle Davison, who is the winner for you?
It's going to be definitely Lewis McWilliam here, the return pole sitter. 100%.
Lewis has not won this season, meaning this could be a really intriguing one. Remember, Formula Virtual Racing has never had a repeat winner here at Singapore, and just 5 drivers have shared victories at 13 Singapore Grand Prix in Formula 1. So it is 6, because Carlos Sainz took one, so it is the polar opposite. But we head onto the grid here for the Season 11 Singaporean Grand Prix. The championship is getting closer to a conclusion. Let's see what twist is in the tail here as we go racing for the Singaporean Grand Prix. Lewis McWilliam gets a decent getaway in towards turn number 1. Great start for Schumacher, who makes a little bit of contact with Luke Davies and has to leave the racing surface to ensure that there is no further contact made. McWilliam is gone into the sunset, heading down towards turn number 5 as he is leading by 0.5 of a second. Davison not really on his back. Luke Davies right on the back of Tyler Davison. Schumacher, of course, losing that spot to Luke Davies, and he has to vacate the racing surface. As we look further afield, here comes Kyle Albert trying a tricky move up the inside on Nils Hartl. Bit of contact between the two, and the Brit has to just about catch the car. He's still okay though. There's a lunge from Yafan Panguru in the background here as well, and that is Julius Gassner, who is off and spun in the background. Poor start there for Julius. He's down to the bottom. Good start for you, Kyle, actually.
Yeah, it's good for me. I've gained a position over here. I'm really battling. In the meantime, the Aston Martin in the back has lost his end wing, so it's going to be a safety car or anything else to really get him back in the race. Also, great start for Luke Davies there. He has passed Felix Schumacher.
Yeah, he has, and he's right in the back of Tyler Davison as well. However, Luke is on the softs. Felix, Tyler and Lewis are on the hards. So Luke wants track position here. Also, Kyle, if we do get a safety car or a VSC or something, you might be able to retire that car maybe if you do hop in it. But just to make sure we don't kill anyone, because they probably hate the commentators and the stewards and others. Oh, Davison glances the outside wall, heading through the penultimate corner. That was almost a tank slapper for him. He almost squandered his chances at a Singaporean Grand Prix. Davies up the inside. Oh, bit of contact made between the two Brits. They had a full 3-lap battle last time out to start the race in Silverstone. They're looking to start the race in a similar fashion here, but that almost went very wrong for the pair of them.
And they did collide there. That was really close and really risky as well. Luke Davies needs to have track position, but he also needs to keep his car on the track here. That was way too risky from the Brits. And I do think it's not worth the risk to even go for the move down there when you've got such a long straight to get Tyler Davison or anyone else. I do think he has to also think ahead. And by all means, these tires do not last very long. So he needs to get a step on it as well.
Yeah, good move from Tim Den Heyer to get the job done on Levi Rabbers, so he's up to 9th now. 6:10 separates Davison and McWilliam. Luke and Tyler cannot trip over each other too much, but the thing here is both of them want as many points as possible for the championship charge, because with no legend here, there is a possible 22-point swing for Luke Davies if he plays his cards right here. For Tyler Davison, there's a chance to get back in the championship that maybe looked gone after the Italian Grand Prix at Monza, where he did not take a win that he feels he should have, and the big points were lost. But that race was an absolute chaotic one, and that's probably why Kyle ended up sick. He was just recovering from that absolute madness, but we'll wait and see. Fastest lap of the race goes to Davison, but Luke Davies is hot on his heels, burning a lot of battery and trying to utilise these soft compound tyres as much as he can. Davison's in a little bit more of a saving mode. He, of course, has the DRS assistance of the Scotsman in front of him now, but here comes Luke Davies. Big move up the inside in towards turn number 5. Luke taking no prisoners here and wants to get the job done. Oh, almost sends the AlphaTauri in a half spin. That was really close, and now allows the German of Felix Schumacher to get the job done on the AlphaTauri. They're almost free abreast down into the left-hander at turn number 7. The AlphaTauri still on the outside. Schumacher giving the shove. Schumacher comes back on the circuit in front. That is now Davies up to 2nd. Felix Schumacher up to 3rd. But in all of that, Lewis McWilliams gone into the wind. 1.5 second lead.
Felix Schumacher, in the meantime, is just dragging... Luke Davies is dragging Felix Schumacher around here, and he is thinking, thank you for that one. Yellow flags in the meantime. Adrian Taishi is spun around. He is back on track, though. As I was saying, Felix Schumacher here is profiting very much from what's happening.
Oh, Tyler, whoa, way out of shape. Heading over the Anderson Bridge. I'm not too sure what's wrong with that AlphaTauri, but this race is not going to plan for a man who's traditionally very good around here. There's something wrong with that car, whether it be a car setup, whether it be something else. I'm going to go on a little bit of investigative journalism now and see, are we going to have some wet weather here potentially? And he set up the car for that.
Very much a possibility in the climate of Singapore, where everything is either really hot or really cold and rainy, so it's definitely possible.
No rain expected.
No rain expected. Okay, well then Luke Davies is on a big gamble. Brandon reported in the chat as well. If he doesn't get in the lead, it could be a big bother for him because he needs to pit quite early. Surely on a track like this.
Yeah, Brennan's spot on there, actually, I have to say. If Luke doesn't lead this race come his pit window, that's an absolute disaster. Because Lewis is going onto the softer tyres. Like, he can't do a hard. That's physically not possible. Luke has to go on a step harder than what he's already on. And in a 31-lap race around a hot, ferocious street circuit like Singapore, you churn up your tyres. Humidity levels here, of course, around Marina Bay at about 70%. Usually, or if this wasn't a sim race, that means drivers can lose up to 3 to 4 kilos in body weight. And Sebastian Vettel actually did this race in 2015, took the win, did it all without a sup of water as Luke Davies bit slidey over the Anderson Bridge. They're all struggling, really, here with car control.
They are, and obviously right now there's also the, Luke is obviously going to suffer each lap more than the last one, and that means that Lewis needs to keep these couple laps. These laps are critical for who wins this race. It's all up for Lewis McWilliam to stay ahead, and poor Bune!
Oh, poor Bune went for a mad one, ran the outside of Levi Roberts and was almost shown into that Salesforce sponsorship on the left-hand side of the corner. But he's all okay for now. Here's Bune now once again on the outside. But Bune actually on the hard compounded tyres, so it's not like Luke Davies where he's trying to cut through the pack here. It was good qualifying from Bune. It's been a good season for Alpine, actually, or a good second half to this season, I should say. Maybe a bit of a shaky start, but Bune and Jonathan Jurgensmeyer 8th and 9th in the championship respectively, so it's been good for them. That puts Alpine in a fairly decent position in the team's championship. Of course, they currently sit in a 8th position, but they are only a few points off 4th and 5th, really. It's really close in the mid-pack for the team's championship. But we'll wait and see how it plays on. Luke is going the right way about these things, though. He's taken 0.2 of a second off Lewis McWilliam in the last couple of sectors.
Yeah, but he does need way more than that, and he's just lost those 2 seconds again, so it's all really to play for. And these laps, as I was saying, are really critical. It's all going to depend on what he does right now. You can clearly see he's already starting to struggle a bit. In the bridge section earlier, last lap around, he struggled. I've seen also Tim Den Heyer struggling on the softs at the last corner. Had a big tank slapper, he did save it, so it is getting trickier out there. That also means, obviously, the chance of getting a safety car or a crash in this race is only increasing as these drivers are progressing through the race.
I've just realised Leroy Vinchendel's in the wrong car. He should be in your Red Bull car, but he's in the Alfa Romeo.
I'm causing so much trouble over here at
Yeah,
the
you are.
moment.
And Kyle in the commentary box, of course, not not even driving. So Kyle, of course, the 93rd statistical best driver in Formula Virtual Racing history. You've actually dropped one since I said that last time, because we definitely had a debutant at some point. I can't remember who, but you are now the 43rd statistical best driver, 93rd statistical best driver.
That hurts. But I would still beat you in a Monaco race. Anyway, there's a big gap between Levi and...
Although the last time we did this, the guy who was leading by quite a bit DNF'd, so Lewis, hold your horses.
Yeah, I shouldn't say anything. I'm not gonna jinx anyone today. I have decided to... actually, Niels Hardel's doing really well today. Other than that, there's a big gap, and that is something I want to point out here. Levi? Sorry?
Niels Shade. As here comes Borbune, actually about to get past Ravers, just as you were saying. There goes Borbune to 9th. Good move from the Alpine.
Yeah, indeed. I was saying about the gap. There is a notable big gap. Something's either happened there, or these guys are battling really hard, but because that gap's really big, and I do think that's going to be a strategy breaker for some of these guys who are trying to outlast these soft runners. Enzo King, on the meantime, starting a silent race as well.
And the thing about this as well is, they're only fighting for the final 2 points paying positions. It's not like all these guys are in the points, so you got to come up with some creative strategy calls if you want to try win this one from this point. If you are maybe Levi Ravers, or if you're for Borbune. Did I say win this one? I meant win this battle. As that is first penalty of the day goes to Charlie Doyle, who's out on the outside of Enzo King. Tim Den Hire picking up one as well. Didn't want Charlie to feel lonely, so he decided to join the penalty cause, and that is unfortunate for those two. But usually around Singapore, penalties are not the deciding factor unless it is a close battle for the win. Here comes Charlie Doyle up the inside in towards turn 1 of the Austrian of Enzo King. Job's a good one for Charlie Doyle. However, that makes me indicate softs could be falling off here, because Enzo was running quite well in them, and now he's slowly falling down the pack. He's got his teammate. I know he's in the Alfa Romeo, but Leroy is his teammate. Leroy's points will go to Red Bull Racing, as actually that is Felix Schumacher past Luke Davies. There is a clear deficit here in terms of tyres. The softs are falling off here, Kyle.
Yeah, the softs are falling off, and this has been a bad gamble for Luke Davies. Unless there's a safety car right now which could save him, he is drowning at the moment. All of these drivers are, because Tim Den Hire has also lost quite some time to Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, who he was battling with earlier.
Sorry, Kyle stopped mid-sup of water, and I had all my microphones muted.
I was about to say something. I thought we lost you there.
No, sorry.
I was about to say I got overtaken on the track there. I'm now in P16.
You are. So, Levi Ravers in the background. We just about caught that one. In the background is shot Ravers. Somehow not in the wall. Good car control. There goes the American of Jonathan Jurgensmeyer up the inside. Ravers almost hitting the wall. As can Jurgensmeyer get the job done? No. Fun fact, Jonathan's team last week in the iRacing Daytona 24 Hours, obviously the real one's on this weekend, the iRacing one was on last time, they punted a NASCAR engineer and went semi-viral on Twitter. So if you're wondering why Jonathan wasn't racing last week, that was the antics he was up to. As Ravers has spun it again, and this time he's hit the wall.
Oh no. That is damage.
Yeah, it's a poor mistake, that. Very poor mistake for Ravers.
It is, and it's early in the race as well. No safety car, and he has to do a full lap without a end plate. That end plate, it might not look like a lot of damage, but it is. Well, obviously you can see it right now. He is, basically everywhere on the track. Meanwhile, loads of penalties are dropping in on a track like this. It's quite surprising, isn't it? Because I don't really recall this track being easy to get a penalty on.
Look at this. Schumacher up the inside of King. No, that was never going to work, I'm afraid. And poor Enzo King has been sent into a spin, and he's picked himself up a... Well, actually, he mightn't have picked himself up a 5-second penalty there for a reset to track. Stewards might deem that was done in a safe manner, but... Yeah, very disappointing for Enzo. He's having a good race. Schumacher will be paying a visit to the post-race stewards, you have to feel there, because it was just a silly move that was never on, and that is a Mercedes. That is Levi Ravers, who's gone off. It was at the same part of the mini-map where Lewis McWilliam was, and I thought maybe the Ferrari had put it in the wall. But Lewis, although he can still see the 4 cars behind him, 2.7 seconds is a very comfortable lead for a man that's not raced in a while. Or not raced in
It is.
FVR, I should say, in a while. He has done other series.
And his lap on pole position was also a really good lap. So this man's just showing off his talent at this point. It's incredible to even be comfortable with such a car after such a long time. I remember when I was going on holidays for 5 weeks and turned back to the PlayStation, I would feel like it's a whole new car. It's a whole new racing team.
Stumer into the wall! Big crash for Morris Stumer. But I think he's got away damage-free. Tried another move up the inside of the Alpine. Had a complete tank slapper as he hit the curb and his car went off to the right-hand side. Not a good lap for Stumer, that one, really. But he's in the race. He's got no damage. That's a very lucky one for the AlphaTauri. That's a really, really lucky one.
It is. As I was about to say, this track is getting harder and harder, it seems, for all these drivers. I've seen a lot of drivers being caught out early, or napping, and creating mistakes.
We started on the hard tyres on full fuel level, and what seems to be a cold enough track here this evening, especially being in the night time, it is of course colder. Struggling with temperature, maybe, certainly struggling with grip. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if Luke Davies comes into the pit lane soon, because look, he's very wobbly. Another thing that I am, well, maybe not disappointed with, but certainly surprised by, is the lack of pace by Tyler. Felix bombed past Luke, got 1.7 out. Tyler seems to be struggling to catch him at this point.
Yeah, he does, but is that maybe tire wear though? Because I do know the track is really hard on the tire, so yeah, obviously the softs are running down. Actually, Tyler should be catching up, yeah. Looks obviously on the softs. Something's wrong with that car you pointed out earlier, right? Maybe some floor damage or anything that
we don't have floor damage.
Alright, then it might be some setup-wise issue, because he is struggling quite harshly out here. I do see, actually, on the telemetry, a flashing red repair icon on his car.
That would be fuel related.
That is not the issue then.
Well, it is. It's a big issue if we don't have a safety car, because he's not going to be able to get that back fairly easily. No, it's not fuel related. That's his pit window is open.
It just disappeared.
Actually, I wonder, is there some damage on that car?
Poor
boy Bune
right?
has disconnected. I'm going to have a look and see, because I do believe Tyler live streams his races. Poor boy Bune has suffered a second disconnect in 2 weeks. He was ill-fated at Silverstone, and he's ill-fated here again, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Obviously, a disconnect early in the race sucks, but one, two in a row is even worse. In the meantime, we have got some other battles for you. We've got Levi. Oh, no. The Aston Martin behind him has gone off the track in the meantime. Oh, no. Niels Hardel.
Oh, big damage for Nils. That's damage for Nils. There's no front wing on that Ferrari. Also, Tyler does not have damage and is now slowly starting to catch Luke Davies. That's Nils into the pit lane. Not gone well for one Ferrari. It's going very well for the other, but unfortunately there for Nils. But relatively easy mistake to make, that one. Just a bit too hot on the exit of the corner, and Nils into the pit lane now for a wing change. Happened in the right area of the circuit for Nils, though, although he will lose, well, 20 seconds that he wouldn't have likened to. At least he doesn't have to do what poor Levi Rabbers did and do the full 1 minute and 40 or 1 minute and 30 whatever lap time with no front wing. It's a lot longer than 130 with no front wing. I can tell you that for free.
But remember when I said I wanted to jinx him and then said he was doing a good race?
Yep.
So I do think I'm going to get a visit from him later on. Borbune has joined back. That is good.
Borbune actually popped into the stream chat while he was joining back and simply said, "This season." I think that describes it enough for poor Borbune. But despite having all the bad luck, Borbune is still having a good season. 8th in the championship. And look, he's not actually lost that much here. He's still in the points. And that spin from Nils has also helped him, because Nils has lost the same amount of time as he possibly has, so there could be a battle there still on between them two. Gap between Davison and Davies. 0.4 of a second. Luke is in. That's why Luke Davies into the pit lane. Slow pit entry here at Singapore. Let's see what tyres he goes for. Surely got to be the hards to the end. I can't really see mediums making it.
No, definitely not. He's got to be going for the hards here. And still, though, that is, again, he's going to be left on...
No!
Oh, it's the mediums!
Oh, maybe a two-stopper? Maybe hoping for a safety car?
This is definitely an alternative strategy, that's for sure. He's definitely seeing something which either we aren't seeing or he's completely blind. One of the two. Safety car guessing in Singapore, it's not a bad call, honestly, because loads of crashes have happened, and it's debatable whether a safety car should have gone out on these last two crashes, but maybe something else we're missing here, Evan.
I mean, Luke's not a bad tyre saver. It's not one of his standout traits, potentially, but I mean, he's not bad at it. So maybe.
It's 28 laps, though. That's going to be rough. 29, even. On the mediums? I mean, he did do 9 laps on the softs, which is already...
I really hope you aren't studying maths. 31 minus 12 is not 29.
Oh, no, it's 80. Okay, no, that's definitely possible. That's a little bit easier than 28. Yeah, no, I shouldn't definitely not study maths. That's why I'm a commentator, Evan.
We need Brendan here. Where's the smart one gone? Brendan's doing a very good uni degree. We need him back.
Is he? What kind of degree?
I'm not publicly discussing that. That's for you and Brendan to talk about. Here comes Luke. Is he going to lunge his former teammate Borbune? He is. Bor gives him a wide berth. There's no harm there. Bor knows. And yet Luke Luke was weaving to say thank you to Borbune, and he almost hit the wall there. So Luke, he's not going to say that he almost hit the wall there, but he definitely almost did.
I am getting some flashbacks from my Spider GT Prime time here. Weaving, obviously, it loses you a bit of time. So, Luke, maybe try to get your alternative strategy working, push it out, because these guys ahead of you are not fighting with each other, so it needs to come from raw pace. And I believe that's too big of a gap to bridge with raw pace. I don't know the strategy around here for Luke Davies right now. Like, what could he possibly do right now that could save him?
Drive quicker.
Yeah, well, it's a 20-second gap.
It is a 20-second gap, so if he drives quicker, it won't be.
Yeah, but I mean, the guys ahead will pit and get on newer tires, so I do think there's going to be a major trouble for Luke Davies here.
No, I think he's in trouble. I think this is a bad strategy from Luke, unless a safety car saves him. That's really it. And even at that, I think it's still a bad strategy, because if a safety car saves him, he's surely going to pit for fresh anyways. He's right up behind Kyle Albert here. Kyle, very snappy there for Luke Davies. Went for the move late. Did not fully commit to it, but still got the job done, mind. And he's going to get the exit. That is Davies ahead of Kyle Albert. Up the front of the race. We're not going to focus on it for now, but just a quick thing to note. Gap down to 1.8. Felix Schumacher having a really good second half of his stint here. Standings on your screen now, though. And still, even if Luke doesn't win this race, he's still gaining a healthy points margin over Rosenberg.
You gotta respect him for doing this race, because he's not usually the type of guy to even do a race, and now he's quite up there. I mean,
Felix, I was
going to
say,
hard.
Luke's missed about 4 races in the last 17 and a half years.
Yeah, no, but I never really see him on top.
Felix, no, he never really races. Felix runs his own league at a similar time. It's called F1 Total, and as I like to brag, way worse than FVR. No, but if you're German, that league will definitely suit you. I believe it's an all German-based league. So if you're a German driver and you want to, check that out, then yeah, feel free.
I
think they have a Discord or something.
You should probably say that in German, just to
I can't speak German. I could barely speak English.
Come on, you can't.
Alright. There goes Tim Den Haar getting past the German of Yathenpen Guru. Einfrein and then Borussia Dortmund. There you go, there's a bit of German. Olympiastadion. Olympiastadion. There's some German.
No, that's bad.
Did you know Norwich City were the only English team to beat Bayern Munich in the Olympiastadion? Kyle Albert and Jano Bervots, I hope you're watching. Sorry, I drive them mad with that. It was in the UEFA Cup back in 1992/93.
The last time they were actually good.
Yes. No, sorry, we had a good season the year after. We had a good season in 2011 as well. Finished 11th in the Prem, I think.
Luke Davies wasn't even born then.
Luke was. He was born in 2007.
Oh, that's also not... Well, that's... I mean...
Well, what year were you born, Kyle?
2004.
Oh, I'm 5. So.
Yeah, you're younger.
I am. A wee baba. Yeah, this stream has lost all legs.
Yeah, we have lost our.
It's a bit of a dull one, so that's when the conversation comes out.
Oh, I do have news from the Daytona. If anyone is
Oh yeah, if
trying
you're
to watch the
interested in
Daytona
the
race and the FVR race, there is a car with a massive shunt we've had in the Le Mans corner. It's car number 11 from I believe that is the TAF team. They have the TDS team. They have basically ruined their whole car in half. They are probably out of this race.
What class would that be in,
to-
Kyle? For my
Sorry?
own interest. What class? For my own interest.
LMP2.
Oh, LMP2. So there we go. As Luke Davies, back to our race, gets the job done on Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. So that is job done. I think a safety car would really spice up this race here. I'm not saying we should have one, but I think it would really spice it up.
Maybe my AI causes one. Let's hope for it. Actually, let's not hope for it, because Luke Davies would still, the guys ahead have enough time to pit. And even if he doesn't pit, which he doubtful he will, he still loses track position. So all in all, he's shot himself in the foot with this strategy. So
Oh, Charlie Doyle is into the pit lane. So, okay, so this actually gives us a bit of an indication. He's into the pit lane on 14 lap old mediums.
yeah.
Luke has to do more than 14 laps on those mediums.
Genuinely don't know. I've never seen this before from Luke Davies as well. I have seen other people, of course, shoot themselves in the foot with strategy, but this is a one-off.
Yeah,
really.
I've never seen Luke. Oh no, Luke has had some howlers in the past. But
Yeah, no, but this one's really bad compared to this season.
no, sorry. What I was going to say is I've never seen Luke go for something different compared to everyone else. Usually, if he goes for a different strategy, there's a few more with him. But Felix, Tyler, and Lewis went conservative. Luke tried something else. And usually, Luke is good when he's following another car. You never really see Luke try to be the pace setter.
Yeah,
But, I mean, he's doing it here. He's pumping in really quick laps. He's now only 7 seconds behind Leroy Van Gendel.
Yeah, well, but there's still a 10-second gap between him and it's going to be down to
What will
happens in the
save
next stint
Luke
for the
here
guys ahead
is
as well.
what would save Luke is once Lewis, Felix, and Tyler come into the pit lane, not Leroy, because Luke will be ahead of Leroy come the end of this race, anyways, or at least you'd like to think. But Lewis, Felix, and Tyler, if they all come into the pit lane, Luke takes the race lead, as Tyler comes into the pit lane now. If Luke takes the race lead and then a safety car comes out, Luke is saved, because you think everyone would pit for softs at that point. But we'll wait and see. What tyres does Davison go on for? You'd be inclined to think the mediums here from the AlphaTauri crew, and that will be absolutely what happens.
Yep, that's the normal strategy call, the one that will work. Luke Davies obviously in this time.
Well, the only thing here
is
is Luke is way, way ahead with the undercut. About 9-10 seconds.
he is. It's semi-working, this strategy, which is really interesting. Temden higher, meanwhile, with a 3-second time penalty. As I was saying earlier, it's not that easy to get a penalty in around here. Or is this me?
Well, these drivers would think different.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this is an intriguing one. 2.1 seconds separate Lewis McWilliam and Felix Schumacher here. Surely if you're Felix, you're seeing the data from the undercut, and you're going for this one to try undercut Lewis McWilliam. Surely. That's got to be the play here.
Definitely. If you're racing with your brain ahead of the race, then you definitely want to do that. Liam's obviously in a position right now which is very profitable. He's been doing well the whole race, and
Liam?
this is his chance to get... Liam.
Speaking of Liam,
I
Liam Carrick in the
not
stream
on it
chat.
today.
Hello, Liam. Hope you keep him well. Oh, they're both in. That's rather boring, but that does mean Luke Davies, or Leroy Van Gendel, will lead this race.
After a race ban as well. What a return.
Yes, absolutely. But what I'm intrigued to see is how much does Luke Davies lead this race by, and does Tyler or not lead, but provisionally lead, and does Tyler Davison get the pair of them? Jurgensmeyer in between Davies and Davison, as Lewis goes for the mediums, Felix Schumacher goes for the mediums. Luke Davies now does lead the Singapore Grand Prix. Tyler Davison running for the final corner. It's going to be close, There is the two cars at pit exit, but remember, it's a slow turn one for those coming out of the pit lane. They're not allowed to cross that white line. There is Felix Schumacher. Davison's definitely gained. Definitely a gain there for Tyler Davison. And Felix Schumacher is not going to have his medium compounded tyres up to temperature just yet. and Davison might be able to pounce, but Schumacher, I was going to say it more ERS, but not really, just a little bit, and let's wait and see. Tyler Davison tucks into the slipstream of the German. Is he going to be close enough for a move into turn 7? He is not, but still, that's positive for Tyler, because now he is DRS. Gap between Lewis and Luke, 5.7 seconds. It's going to be closing. This could be an interesting one.
It's definitely an interesting one, and this strategy, we have either misjudged it horribly, or there's something we're not seeing here, as I was saying earlier, because Luke is on it right now. And his pace is really strong, and he's obviously going to catch Leroy Vincendo over here, who's on a 11 lap older tires. And
Leroy could make this very difficult for Luke. Luke, well, wouldn't be the best of friends. Of course, Leroy and Thomas Main would have their alliances together, maybe. Maybe Leroy would lean towards the other side of the championship battle in terms of his fellow Dutchman legend Rosenberg. The reason I brought up Thomas Main is because I don't think it's a hidden thing that Luke and Thomas have become rivals as of the past, but we'll wait and see. If I'm Leroy Vincendo here, though, his race and his championship is way more important than interfering with the overall result of the championship. If I'm Leroy, just let Luke through and stick in his DRS for a bit. Tyler Davison, fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Luke did not set one fastest lap of the Grand Prix when he just pit, so that is a positive here for Tyler. Tyler, of course, races a lot of other cars, races a lot of GTs, different single-seaters. So I think this compound attire would really suit him compared to the others. Here comes Davies going for the inside. Vincendo slightly defends. Yellow flag, that's for Julius Gassner. Just coming up to these corners now. Luke Davies now on track, leads the Singaporean Grand Prix.
That is a good move. No risks taken. Well, some risks is always taken when you're driving such a car, but it is a great move by Luke Davies here. He needs to keep the car on track right now, drive his own race. There is no one ahead of him except Julius Gassner, who had the small incident, but lapping him shouldn't be an issue for him. So clear roads ahead for once. Let's see what you got.
I wonder, is Luke trying the Carlos Sainz tactic?
He might.
Of just trying to stay ahead. But the only thing here is, he's not going to have a car in between himself and Lewis like Sainz did. If you don't know what we're on about, Sainz held Norris in his DRS tactically to make sure the two quicker Mercedes of George Russell and Lewis Hamilton couldn't get through. Then the funniest moment of the season happened where George Russell crashed on the last lap. Sorry, my bias is showing. But the only thing there is, Sainz was on the exact same tyres as Norris and could use him as a buffer. Luke now has no car between himself and Lewis as Leroy Vincendo enters the pit lane. And 2.5 seconds in 10, 11 laps. Easily doable for Lewis McWilliam because he just set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Felix Schumacher almost dropping Tyler Davison, as well as Adrian Tishy exits the pit lane a lap down. Really, really unfortunate for Adrian. It's not been his best season.
Definitely not.
Not been his best race, sorry, and then hasn't been his best season. Currently only with a point in the championship is Adrian.
A single point?
1 point, yes.
Oh,
car off.
Yeah, that's worse than
that's a Red Bull gone off, is it? No, it is Morris Schumer. No, it's not. Who has just gone off there? I presume it's lap traffic. Was it Enzo King? It wasn't Enzo King, was it? No, because it was at a different point of the circuit. I actually have no idea what car just went off. I wasn't watching.
Me neither.
I was reading the stats.
Me neither. I don't see any damage. I do see a 5-second time penalty being served for no reason. Either that or he wasn't watching his clutch there. Niels Hardel stayed in the pits for an extra 6 seconds.
Maybe a wing change?
No, it wasn't a wing change.
Oh. I don't remember him. I don't remember him getting a 5-second time penalty, but honestly, a lot's gone on this race, so.
I don't think he was watching.
Niels was checking his phone, probably. Don't text and drive, kids. Lewis McWilliam is right on the back of Luke Davies, and honestly, this is going to have Luke is going to have to be a miracle worker here. I can't even finish that sentence, and Lewis McWilliam is ahead. And there is a yellow flag. Yep. That is for the Mercedes of Levy. Oh, virtual safety car. If this is upgraded,
he's off big time.
If this is upgraded, this is the worst timing ever for Lewis McWilliam. But Levy rather is... Oh, there's no front wing there. That is a very much a lack of front wing for Levy. Not been a great debut for him, unfortunately. But he is better than this. We've seen him at Le Mans. He's a really good driver.
Yeah, he's welcome in Spider GT anytime. Anyway, there's...
He can replace me for Laggio Maggiore 12 hours.
No, anyway, he's...
A few pitters, actually. That is King, Albert, and Den Hayer, who are all making their way into the pit lane. Didn't hire an 11 lap all mediums. This is a good call from him, I think.
I am seeing. I mean, this is the second time Levi has hit the wall and lost his front wing, and he's still in P14. So he's got some pace there. Oh no!
Oh! Did he hit that car? I just clicked the
he
wrong
hit
button.
him.
Well, I mean, he's no
He
front
hit
wing to
him.
lose. Oh!
Oh no!
Tyler Davison, drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. Championship challenge is over.
Oh, and now that safety car doesn't even matter anymore for Tyler. It's Luke's.
And that is Julius Gassner off. And honestly, a safety car would be even worse now for Tyler. Because he's 24 seconds behind him. He can still be in fourth. Okay, he needs a safety car here. He needs to serve his drive-through this lap. Serve it this lap and minimise the risk of a safety car. He'll still come out in fourth, I think. And then he needs to just pray that someone goes off. Yeah, he's into the pit lane here to serve his drive-through. And that is Leroy Vincendel getting past Charlie Doyle. Good move by Leroy there. Leroy in a great position here for a good result. It's 23.5 seconds. The AlphaTauri should still come out in fourth. Okay, I might have jumped the gun a little bit with the Championship Challenge over line. But if there's no safety car here, it's certainly over. No safety car
definitely.
or a Luke Davies puncture. Because if Lewis or Felix wins this race and they get a 1-2, that literally does not matter from a championship perspective. Lewis has 2 points. Felix has, well, he's a reserve, so he can't win the championship. But Davison, is he going to come out in fourth position? He is, just about ahead of Leroy Vincendel. Leroy's going to try the outside line here. No, but the AlphaTauri's ahead of the Alfa Romeo with a Red Bull driver in it, but it is an Alfa Romeo car. Davison needs to try defend down on the run towards turn number 7 here. What can he do? Leroy Vincendel tucked into the slipstream. This is nightmare territory for the Briton. Vincendel on the outside. Can Davison keep the car in here? No. Leroy Vincendel is up to fourth in the Singapore Grand Prix. And the two Alpines swap there. That is Jonathan Jurgens-Meyer ahead of Borbune. And there is actually a swap. Schumacher on the brakes ahead of Luke Davies. That's the Williams ahead. 3 overtakes in quick succession. It's now Lewis McWilliam who leads from Felix Schumacher.
Obviously a big difference in tires for Felix Schumacher and Luke Davies, but what a race Felix is putting on here. He has overtaken Luke Davies. It won't matter for his championship, but obviously for the statistics, it is fun to see what he is putting down right now. Notable other thing, Jonathan Jurgens-Meyer and Borbune putting out good comradeship or teammateship, letting each other by for the greater good.
Yeah, well, that's a great decision because look at the gap Jurgen's pulled and look at the gap he's pulling in on Charlie Doyle. That's a great decision from the French team.
Yep, and also a good decision between the drivers to actually maintain that sportsmanship and just let each other by. In the meantime, there is also
Tyler has no pace here. He's been gapped by Leroy Vincendel.
Who?
Tyler.
Yeah, there's
This is not the race he needed. He needed a win realistically here today. That's not happening. Unless there's a miracle of some sort.
I mean, miracles are possible, but it's
yeah, we saw Monza.
It's beginning to look quite impossible, though. This is it really has been a bad race, and I don't know if there's something wrong with his setup or car, but
well, that drive-through has killed him.
Yeah, the drive-through has killed him, but before that he had issues as well with the cornering and stuff, and now Leroy Vincendel is gapping him. There must be something that we are not seeing at the moment, as in like a setup issue or fuel. Actually, the fuel indicator or the light to repair his car has gone blue.
Blue, no, sorry.
Oh, we are bored today. We are bored.
I mean, it's not been that bad a race, though. But the gap between Leroy and Luke is 22.2 seconds. That's coming down. The only thing here for Luke is just drive the car to the finish and he has third, because there's no risk behind him anymore.
Definitely not. We've got Luke Davies.
We are getting to... Kyle Davis is yawning on the broadcast. Like, we're getting scarily close to a potential Luke Davies back-to-back. Oh, that's Julius Gassner round again. But honestly, sorry, we say scarily close. Luke he's done the job here. This is exactly what he needs.
It is. Well, it isn't. It's obviously he could have done way better, considering his pace. But right now, he's done the job. Simple as that. It doesn't really matter who's in front of him, as long as it's not Tyler.
Yeah, because, sorry, we're just looking at the standings on the screen. I'll bring them up once again because I want to look at them as well. He had a 4-point gap over Legend Rosenberg. He'll now have 18, heading with 2 races left in the season. Like, it's 22 points for a win. An 18 race gap is not much as Adrian Tishy is into the wall at the Anderson Bridge. Oh, and he's into the wall again at the Anderson Bridge. Tried to do a bit of a 3-point turn, rather unsuccessfully, unfortunately for Adrian. To be fair, it is a really tight corner there, or a tight bridge, so not much he could have done. No safety car though, as he does a front wing damage. So unfortunately, any chance he did have of points is gone. As Julius Gassner is out, are we going to get a safety car here? Oh, virtual. Virtual safety car.
Might be upgraded.
On brand, considering we're Formula Virtual Racing, we're now Formula Virtual Safety Car Racing. I kind of hope we do get a safety car, though, because I put on the graphic that the race will be featuring the Mercedes-AMG safety car. So, I don't want to be done by false advertising laws by the Competition and Consumer Protection Agency.
Well, I mean, a safety car would do good for the race as well. It would bring some excitement.
It would. It would make it really interesting. It'd do good. It would do good for the views of the stream, maybe as well.
Adrian Tishy has the worst race. Again, a 5-second time penalty.
Oh no, he's continuing.
That's one thing I do want to note for everyone watching right now. This man never. Oh my God, Kyle.
Oh, Kyle.
It's
Albert.
in the name.
Kyle Albert, drive through for speeding in the pit lane. Oh, he's in the points as well. This was going to be a good result for Kyle Albert. Good result for Mercedes, but no. Unfortunately, drive through. He'll have to serve that, and that will drop him out of the points because he's got Tim Dunhire right in his tail, and Morris Sturmer not too far behind. A lot of penalties though, but none for the top 5.
It's a notable thing to also mention. We've got a report actually, a driver's report from Julius Gassner, I believe. No, is it Zaubertrush's Julius Gassner? Yeah, it is, I think. He's reported his worst race ever is ending with a DNF. He hates it. I don't know what happened, but since November, I'm emotionally down as my pace goes down, and worse every week, same as my confidence. Oof. That's really hard statement.
It's not nice to hear. Not nice to hear. Sorry to hear that, Julius, but Julius will keep carrying on. I'm sure he'll fight back. He's a trooper. He'll keep giving it his all, and hopefully the good results will start flowing in for Gassner. But
next season, new chances, man.
A tough pill to swallow, maybe, this one. And it's got to be the same for a few drivers.
Definitely. We've had the Ferraris who've also genuinely a really bad start of the season, but they are doing a little bit. Niels Hardel still having ups and downs every race week, but that is racing. Same goes for you, Julius Gassner. I do think you have a chance next season. Just get on it. Have faith, and then everything will be well. Just like for Tim Dunhire, who has passed Kyle for the 9. Oh, obviously because of the drive-through penalty as well. 2 drive-throughs today.
Yeah, you don't get one really often. We've had 2 today.
No.
But I suppose you don't get many virtual safety cars really. So
that is also true. There was no safety car somehow because the safety car should have been there today. 2 crashes which were quite heavily blocking the racetrack as well. I do think there should have been a safety car, so the mechanics probably still bugged. Thank you, Codemasters. Anyway.
Well, lap 26 of 31, if you're just tuning in here, this is the Season 11 Singaporean Grand Prix, and a man who's won many a Formula Virtual race is returning to the top pedestal, potentially. Lewis McWilliam looking to win his first Singaporean Grand Prix, and it's been a great drive for him. His pace has been on top. Luke Davies is looking to extend his championship lead to an 18-point gap, but Leroy Vinchendel has caught quite a bit, as I say, is that him round? It is Vinchendel round in the middle sector. Oh, that's a commentator's curse from me. Leroy's into the pit lane. He's front wing damage. He was catching, but he couldn't catch the car, unfortunately. And that's so disappointing for Leroy, but I mean, it gives extra points to Tyler, so Tyler will be happy with that. Disappointing that for Leroy.
Yeah, the gap has been shortened now. Tyler is getting some free points over here. His mistake from... Well, actually, he's gained quite a lot. 3 seconds, I believe. No, not 3 seconds, sorry. 2 seconds to Luke Davies compared to a few laps back. Unfortunately, loads of drivers are being caught out today. I've seen quite a few spins today, which is race ending for some of them. Question for you, Evan.
Hello.
Have you ever really had a race where you, like, a tricky track such as this, a street track? Do you do good on these tracks, or do you feel like these drivers are just not focusing?
I tend to do well around street tracks. I'm like raced in a long time, to be fair, but I tend to do good around street tracks. I've won multiple Monaco Grand Prix. I've won multiple Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Did P14 to P1 Saudi Arabia once. Also did quite well around, not really Singapore, was one of my poor ones, not really Albert Park. I've won a few Canadian Grand Prix. Actually got a P4 and an F2 championship in LAS F1. If you're watching and you know what last F1 is, then you are cultured. But let's just stop talking about me and let's more look at this action, because Jonathan Jürgensmeyer, the man who was let through by his teammate to try and attack this battle, has finally reached Charlie Doyle, and they're going fierce at it. In towards the final corner goes the Alpine. Doyle takes the position for now, or keeps the position for now, I should say. Jürgensmeyer is going to get it on a penalty count, maybe potentially, but if these two keep scrapping, that's going to allow Enzo King to catch up.
Yeah, and Enzo King's just getting 3 points, but that was, oh no, big tank slapper. And this track is just really tricky. Jonathan Jürgensmeyer almost being caught out there. In the meantime, we have to note out that this track is really tricky. It's surprisingly tricky, actually, as he's now entering the DRS. I don't believe there's going to be a move here. No, he's playing it safe and staying behind.
3 seconds to gap the front. Yellow flag for the final corner. Oh, that's Kyle Albert, who I'm not sure Kyle was doing Kyle things.
It's in the name. He was not really spinning around or anything. He was just driving slow on the straight, which is also a possibility. Something you could do. 2.8 seconds now, gap to the leader.
Is Felix having a little bit of a comeback? Maybe thinks that he wants to win this one all of a sudden. I don't think he will come back, because Lewis has been exceptional, but Lewis may be struggling a little bit with the tyres. Luke's going to get this one home to the end as well, I think. A very impressive stint on the mediums. He has his teammate of Adrian Tishy right behind, so maybe a side-by-side across the start-finish line for the McLarens. Avesta saying hello, Singapore is my best track. Avesta, no one said you couldn't race, so, that's a bit on you, I'm afraid. And good old Malaki, or Macaulay saying...
Yeah, Malorky,
sorry. Saying, no legend. No legend. And that's going to make this a very interesting end of the championship.
And no you, Malorky, where are you?
Probably crying over the fact his team lost to Maidstone United.
Or his braking zones in Canada. Still finding where those are.
Nah, he's never finding them.
Nah, I don't think so either. It's a hopeless situation, really. Fastest lap of the race, Leroy Facendo.
And 3-second time penalty, Levi Rabbers. So very mixed emotions in terms of the stewarding messages. We're almost on to the penultimate lap of the race, mind you. I know it's been maybe one of the lackluster ones, but it's actually gone past fairly quickly. No safety cars. That's so weird. Oh, Mallorca's in Poland.
What? Mallorca has evaluation races tomorrow. Oh, boy. Well, that's a Spider GT issue, really. Also, a Spider GT issue. Your body.
Check out Spider GT, by the way, new website.
Oh yeah, we do have a new website. Yeah, Avesta Gabadi has some issues with his leg, if I'm not mistaken. He can't feel his leg.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, no, it's really bad actually. So I hope something, gets better soon, and your leg starts working again, basically, because this is...
Here, sorry, Kyle, to jump over. Here comes Jonathan Jürgensmeyer. It's the same point he tried it, and there's a bit of a nudge from between himself and Charlie Doyle. But Charlie Doyle's fall behind this time, unlike the other one. Enzo King right behind the pair as well. This could be a free car scrap on the final lap of the Grand Prix. Doyle picks up another penalty. Just going to allow King through once again. And now, Jonathan Jürgensmeyer is ahead in 5th spot. Enzo King behind, but crucially, Enzo has a penalty as well. 5th place, Jonathan Jürgensmeyer. Fabulous result for the American.
Yeah, respectable result. Meanwhile, the gap between Felix and Lewis is still decreasing. It's 2.4 now.
It is, maybe. A bit of a last lap battle, maybe? Am I being too optimistic? We'll have to wait and see.
Well,
Enzo King gets the
Look
job
at how much
done.
He's losing.
He's losing a lot of time. And Felix knows it. Felix on the battery button is pushing. as here he goes to start the final lap of the Singaporean Grand Prix. 2.1 seconds is the gap between Lewis McWilliam and Felix Schumacher. 1.9. This might be close, you know. Yellow flag in that sector. Oh, it's Morris Schumer. He spun out of the points. Well, he's still in 10th, but Borbune behind, and he doesn't. Oh no, now he's out. Oh, he's drove it into the wall. It's not been a good day if you're an AlphaTauri fan. 1.7, the gap between Schumacher and McWilliam, and we've not got to the technical part of the circuit just yet. This could be very close. 1.6. Felix is giving this a right old go here in the final lap. He really wants to try and win this Singaporean Grand Prix, become the first guy ever to win an FVR Singaporean Grand Prix twice. Lewis has never won it once. Felix has not won it in about 3 years at this point, because of course Season 2 was his first win. He'd won it for Scuderia Ferrari. Now he's trying to claim the spoils for Scuderia, or he's trying to claim the success and spoil it for Scuderia Ferrari over the Anderson Bridge. 1.4 seconds. It's looking like it's going to be a little bit too much for Felix Schumacher. Maybe if there was a lap extra, he might have been able to take this one. It seems like Lewis is just managing it from here on out in towards the right-hander of turn number... the right-hander of turn number 14. Lewis rounding through the final couple of corners now. He is going to be able to take this one. He's got one more chicane and a double left-hander to go. 1.1, 1.0, yes. This circuit where he became Scotland's hero, he once again defines that he is great, he is greatness, and Lewis McWilliam returns to Formula Virtual Racing with his first victory of Season 11. Ferrari have won their first Formula Virtual race in an absolute unbelievable amount of time. Scuderia Ferrari have not won an F4 race since the Netherlands of Season 6. It's Season 11, Round 10, and the Tifosi can finally run wild and celebrate. Luke Davies comes home in third. The second championship can be wrapped up next week at the Lusail International Circuit, if he so chooses to do so. Tyler Davison fourth. Unfortunately, the hill is a bit too much to climb for him. Juergensmeyer comes home in 5th ahead of Enzo King. Charlie Doyle on return will take 7th. Tim Denhire in 8th. Van Schendel fights back to 9th. And Alpine are going to take double points again. Borbune will come home 10th. But Kyle, that one turned out to be more exciting, actually, than we first thought.
Yeah, the ending was insane. Felix found pace somewhere where Lewis was completely lost.
Lewis's throttle. He had a throttle issue.
But I do believe if we had the sector from last year, I believe, that it could have been much closer. That was exciting to the end.
Yeah, Lewis had a throttle issue, and he suffered from that in the past. He lost the Italian Grand Prix last season because of that. So that was really close from Lewis McWilliam.
And that was all the way at the end as well. If it happened a lap earlier, or the sector from last year was still there, it would have been there.
It could have. Felix Schumacher just saying, could that not have happened one lap earlier?
Yeah.
And I mean, he's exactly right. That's the separating factor there, was just when it happened.
In the end, it was oh so close. The Ferrari driver stays on top. And what a race. What a comeback, really. It's great to see him back. Can't lie.
It is good to see him back. But Lewis McWilliam, it's good to see him back winning FVR races after all that's happened. It is really good to see him back. It's good to see Luke Davies on the podium once again. Really, his consistency is what's going to potentially win him another championship, because he's got 5 podiums this season. Or he's got 6 podiums now, 3 in the last 3 races. So Luke Davies proving his class. But here's your full race results. Lewis McWilliam wins with a race time of 49 minutes, which is scarily quick for Singapore. Usually it's a 3-hour event. Usually we'd actually finish after the 24 hours of Daytona. So, you know.
Yeah.
Felix Schumacher in second, followed by Luke Davies, and it is Tyler Davison, Jonathan Juergensmeyer, Enzo King, Charlie Doyle, Leroy Van Schendel, Tim Denhire and Borbune. 3 Dutch drivers to round out the 3 final podium placings. So Nils Hartel, Yathan Panguru. Kyle Albert took the fastest lap. Fair play, Kyle. And it was Levi Rabbers, Morris Stumer, Adrian Tishy. Then it was Kyle Davis. Then it was Julius Gassner. Won the DNF around Singapore. My God, that is something else. But let's hear from your top two now, shall we? Hello, Lewis McWilliam. Firstly, it's nice to have you back. Secondly, is it nice for you to be back winning FVR races?
I missed half the what? I didn't load in quickly.
Oh, that's my bad. Is it nice to be back winning an FVR?
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah, it was good. It was quite a good race. Yeah, I don't know. There wasn't really much happened. It was just quite good.
And Lewis, of course, in terms of, or what you said, sorry, is you had a bit of a throttle issue on the last lap. We saw the gap come down greatly. What happened there?
Well, it just decided it wanted, when I put it to halfway, that it wanted to go to full, and then when I wanted to go to full, it would just not go all the way. So I would basically go out of a corner, try and smoothly press it down. It would jerk to 100%, giving me wheel spin. And then when I got onto said straight, it decided it wasn't going to give me 100% power.
Okay, that's
So
yeah.
thankfully that didn't happen like 5 minutes earlier. Otherwise, it would have been absolutely gone.
Kyle Davis has just started a PlayStation party, by the way, so he's not even listening to these interviews. Just thought
No,
I should
I am,
call,
I am.
just thought I should call you out on that. But Lewis, you've never won in Singapore. Actually, you've taken pole a few times. Is it nice to get another track under your belt?
Yeah, Singapore's a good track, but it's one that's easy in qualifying. But then when you get into the race, it's a bit more difficult. You can obviously get damage, and the tires wear a lot more than a lot of other tracks. But yeah, I think I have been quite unfortunate in some races in Singapore to not win. But yeah, this one was obviously really good. I can't foresee anything happening with this year. I don't think I've seen a single person all race, so. But you never know.
I don't think there was actually many issues. It was one of our cleaner ones. But Kyle, do you have any questions for the race winner?
Well, I think you noticed the alternative strategy of Luke Davies, going on the softs early and then pitting for the mediums. What were you thinking about that strategy? Did that strategy cross your mind, or why did you choose your strategy? Actually,
Nah, I just think Luke's strategy was too reliant on a safety car. Because, I mean, if a safety car had come in the first 6 laps, then, I mean, he goes on medium, and we're all gone. But, yeah, I mean, he was unlucky not to get a safety car. It's not often that happens. But I would say if he gambled it right, it would have worked. But, yeah, he was unlucky not to get a safety car the whole race. But he still got P3, which is quite impressive. Because I would have thought that strategy would have killed him, to be honest. Because I don't know how he got those tires to the end. I was quite surprised by that. Quite impressed, actually. But, you know, can't be saying that too many times. He'll get too happy with himself.
Well, Lewis, thank you very much for joining us. It is really great to have you back. Will you be joining us for Qatar?
Yeah, I will be. I'm not sure about Brazil. No, what's the last one?
Abu Dhabi.
I'm not sure about that, but I will do Qatar, even though I really don't like it. I think it's a rubbish track, but I will be there.
Thank you very much, Lewis. Now let's head on to our third place man, Luke Davies. Luke, you know, you're in quite a good position in the championship. You are on mute as well, by the way, Lukey.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's obviously, no matter what people say, I would have preferred Legend to show up today because, you know, it's always good to have a fight there when he's there, obviously. But, you know, secured 14 points today. Yeah, like Lewis said, my strategy was definitely relying on a safety car, but it was a bit of calculated risk because I saved a set of softs at the start. But yeah, I was as Lewis said, I was unlucky to not get a safety car, but yeah, I kind of knew that if the race just ran how it did, with no safety car, I probably would still finish fourth, which was my starting grid slot. And I thought I didn't fancy myself on the hards, to be honest, to be able to overtake one of Tyler or Felix. So, yeah, I think it was a calculated risk. obviously Tyler got the drive-through, which gave me the position. I think we all know he'd be standing in third if he hadn't got that. But yeah. Would I do it again? Probably not. But yeah, I think it was just one of those things. I went for a risk which I knew wouldn't be too bad if it didn't pay off. And yeah, Legend not being here meant I could kind of afford that today.
Speaking of Tyler, bit of an incident in the opening couple of laps. You seem to give him a bit of damage, he claims. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, we were both being aggressive to each other. I apologise to him for it. It was we were side by side into the corner, but I turned in like a centimetre too early, to the right, and yeah, I bounced over the curb and I hit him. And I don't know if it was my actual car or the wall, but yeah, basically I think he got damaged from that. So yeah, I already apologised to him for it. It was my fault. I put my hands up, but yeah, I didn't mean to do that. I just got a really good run out of turn two. And yeah, I never want to give anyone damage or anything. And yeah, it was a bit over the line, but I was just trying to maximise my softs and yeah, get ahead.
Well, I mean, I think it'd be stupid not to look at the bigger picture now. Is your goal to wrap up the championship next week?
Well, I'd love to, but it's Legend Rosenberg, so I think I just have to, run my own race like always.
Well, it's Legend Rosenberg, but you only need 6 points, regardless of what he does.
Yeah, obviously.
Surely you've got to be a little bit confident that you can wrap it up next time
I
out.
definitely think I can, but yeah, he's won nearly every race this season where he's been untroubled. If he gets out ahead, I'm sure he'll cruise away. But I know I can beat him. If there's factors that come into play, I have to capitalise. I have before, and I don't doubt myself again. But I definitely think whether it's Qatar or Abu Dhabi, this championship, I've got one hand on it now.
Kyle, any questions?
No, just pure. Wanted to really compliment you on the way you even got P3 out of a race which seemed quite hopeless with the strategy. You still made it stick. So my compliments to you.
Thank you very much.
Now, we have got the second place man working in the commentary box now, Felix. It was nice to see you and maybe a man or your old firing partner, let's call it, Lewis, go toe-to-toe in the race. But what were you thinking on that last lap when you saw, hold on, I've got a second and a half on him in a few corners?
Well, I don't know. I was a bit confused what was happening to him. I read after the race he had a throttle issue, and well, I mean, imagine that happened one lap earlier. I would have been the happiest man on track for sure. Yeah, it was really, really intense race, I have to say. Chasing him the entire way after I got past Tyler and Luke, after I think it was about 5-6 laps in, and then the gap it went down a bit, went back up a bit, stayed about the same from start to finish pretty much. Yeah, really tough.
How do you recover from the ego bashing loss to Lewis McWilliam? Lewis, feel free to put in here.
The ego bashing.
Yeah, you both don't like each other. We all know that.
I have no problem with
kidding,
Lewis.
I'm
I just hate losing to him. That's all it is. I mean, I will say I'm in the middle of uni exams right now, so I would say I'm at my lowest point in terms of my driving ability. I've got zero practice. I don't play the game at all unless I had to make time for this. Realistically, I should have been studying instead or
So should I.
instead. But it's Singapore, so I had to turn up. There was no way I was missing this. Yeah, I can live with being on the same pace as Lewis. There's no shame in that.
Will we be seeing you at any point else this season, or is it back to the studying for you?
It depends. I will still have exams all the way until the end. So I'll see how quickly I can get through my study material. If I have time, I'll show up for Qatar and Abu Dhabi. If I don't, yeah, well, I won't. We'll see.
Kyle, you enjoyed Felix's return here today. Do you have any questions?
No, again, no questions. Just compliments to you as well, because your pace was really on it today. It was fun watching you, and I thank you for giving me some entertainment in these last few laps.
I
you,
have a
guys.
question.
Go ahead, Lewis.
I would like to ask Felix, what was it? Did Zauber just sit in front of you for the whole race and just block you the entire time?
There was a lap car for like 1 or 2 laps in front of me. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know. Zauber was just ghosted in front of me, and he just decided at every point that he would just use all his ERS to try and stay in front of me, despite being a lap down. I was just wondering if that was
There was so
something.
many
I reckon if anything, I gained time from that though. I think the DRS being activated for me helped me a bit.
Fair enough.
Probably more than I lost from the distraction. But yeah, there was a guy for like 1 or 2 laps who was in front of me, but then I passed him.
Fair enough.
Luke, any
I'm also
questions for
glad
anyone?
someone else took the fastest lap, because if nobody had done it, I would have pitted and lost P2. Just so you couldn't have it.
But just so I can have it.
Yeah, just so you couldn't have had it, I would have pitted on the at the end if no one else took it.
It was Kyle Albert
So
actually.
you were gonna give Luke P2 purely because you didn't want me to have fastest lap.
Yes.
And you're saying you somehow and you're trying to convince them that you don't have some sort of rivalry here.
Yes.
I think we should
must-
solve
you-
this with
I
a cage fight, ladies and gentlemen.
Genuinely, I think you must be like bored of losing to me. To be
I
honest,
was
I mean, it
I'm
happens
pretty
so
sure. I'm like
much last game.
double his weight.
Felix,
Yeah,
I'll
I mean-
set you a fiver next week, mate.
Hold on, Lewis
Really?
is like 6'7". Actually,
Exactly. I've got the reach.
yeah.
I feel like you must get tired of losing because I mean you lost so much to me last year. Like
What do you mean last year?
when we were both in NLR, it was actually
That
like,
was 2 years ago.
no, it wasn't. It was F122. You big liar.
Yeah, that's 2 years ago. It's 2024.
Oh my god, it's F123, F122. It's a game ago. It's a year ago. Shut up.
That wasn't losing
No,
to
I
you.
was always.
I was being
yeah,
a good
you were.
teammate.
Yeah, you were just you were just a number 2 driver because you were faster than me.
No, I was just staying on your ass all race. It was
Yeah, because you
Good
couldn't
team-
get
good
past
teamwork.
me.
I'm just letting this happen,
Anyway.
by the way. It's good content.
It's really good content. Please keep going.
Lewis, the day I find any quali pace, you're finished. I'm never losing to you again.
What is with NLR drivers not having quali pace, by the way? Oh, you're not.
I
NLR
was the
anymore, are you?
biggest.
Oh, never mind.
I was.
This is unreal for 2 reserves, guys.
We should sign Lewis back and have
I'm
him do
not
easiest
reserve,
qualifying
am I?
for us. We'd never lose out again, I think.
Am I a reserve?
You might as well. be.
No. Lewis is a Ferrari driver.
You might as well be.
Look, you may as well be like in underwear, bro. You're like 6 years old. You may as well go back to kindergarten. I don't know what you're talking.
There it is.
Do people
There it
older
is.
than
You're a
6 not
junior
wear
driver.
underwear?
What?
I don't know. I've lost complete control of this, so, whatever.
Can I point out now, guys? I've got a whopping 25 points.
Uh,
All
23,
season.
mate.
What?
23 points.
I know. I've got 3 points and plus 22.
actually have 26, you're both
Oh.
wrong.
Yeah.
What?
No,
Luke,
my
Luke is
bad.
doing the standings, by the way, while this call is going on, and
I
he's
thought
still
he
got
said
that
he
wrong.
got-
I might turn up to Qatar, Abu Dhabi, just
Hold
for
on,
Oscar
Luke.
Lewis.
Luke, he didn't get fastest lap. Kyle Albert did.
No, I know. I just took it off.
Yeah, nice one, Luke. Well done.
Oh, alright.
Wait, so
my
you're
bad.
now right. So Mr. No Rivalry over here is now going to show up to 2 races so he can beat me in the championship, which he doesn't care about that I've not raced in.
Yes, I will sacrifice my future and my studies just to beat you in a championship that
What?
we both do not care about.
So what you're saying is that your non-rivalry.
No,
is
hold on.
actually
I
more...
don't like that. Yes, you both very
Wait.
much care about this championship.
Mate, I'm literally P9, bud. Why would I actually care?
I couldn't even tell you where I am. Clearly you care if you know where you are.
That was a guess.
He is actually, he's actually P17. Oh no,
What?
Luke hasn't updated it yet. Sorry, you're about.
Yeah, I was about to say, no way I'm
Yeah,
P17 after winning. Surely not.
You are.
He's
Yeah,
P-
you're
he's
11th.
P11.
11th in the main drivers, 13th in the overall classification.
Bollocks.
Okay, anyways, I think we will have to leave it there after that total domination from Lewis McWilliam. You see what I did there? Next week, of
Get up.
course, Next week, we head to the Lusail International Circuit in Qatar for what should be a thrilling penultimate round. Kyle, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. That was an amazing ending interview. Look forward to seeing you guys back soon.
Make sure to check out all our social channels for FVR content. Make sure to watch the streams each week. And yes, folks, that is all we do have time for here. It was a fabulous Singapore Grand Prix and an even better driver's press conference afterwards. So, most importantly, we will leave you with a word from our title sponsor, Simulus Clothing. And stay safe, stay well, and we shall see you next time. Bye-bye.
Luke Davies, in an unbelievable fashion, wins his second career Monaco Grand Prix. Luke Davies takes it again in star-studded and dramatic fashion.
This program is brought to you by Simulus Clothing, official title sponsors of Formula Virtual Racing. But wait, there's more. Check out the official Formula Virtual Racing merchandise line out now exclusively to Simulus Clothing. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the program.